So the point is, whether it's my own streams or other people's streams, I just love IRL streaming. It's a lot of fun. So when I heard the story that an IRL streamer had been shot in the leg, I knew I had to do my due diligence to look into the story and that I wanted to cover it on my channel.
And yet he didn't really do his due diligence with this one. He really sort of screwed the pooch when it came to reporting on the Furry Potato incident and got a few facts wrong, and it's going to be interesting as we jump down this rabbit hole covering this issue. Also keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about this in a certain way, and if you just want to hear about why I'm doing that, I'll have a little link to the time, well, not a link, but a time thing right at the bottom here, so that way you can check it out.
Now we will get into the story in just a moment, but before we do, I want to mention two things. I do think that both Zoe, Perez, and the security guard were both out of line in how they handled the situation. The security guard definitely used force that they should not have used, but Zoe also antagonized the security guard and brought it to that point. Allow me to explain in more detail.
Fair point, but the thing is the antagonizing aspect is no worse than the normal IRL kind of stuff that you see with the CX crew that Hero here seems to associate himself with very much and advertises the fact that he is with the CX network. And those of you who are unfamiliar with the CX network, it's a network that's run by an IRL live streamer named Ice Poseidon, who got kicked off of Twitch back in 2017, if I remember correctly, and has been controversial in a lot of the content he creates, but we'll get more into that a little bit later.
These are the facts of this case that I have obtained from various news agencies covering this story, as well as facts that Zoe has stated herself.
But are they the facts within context? And that's actually going to be one of the big points here, is he has taken things out of context with his reporting, and also he's taking news media for its word. And I have a nice little collection, and you can check out in the description, of various articles covering this, and you can see the bias pour out from the various different kinds of angles and who's reporting on it. There are some fair coverage within these links, but go ahead and check those out. But let's go ahead and get back to this.
Transgender YouTuber Zoe Perez was shot in the leg by a security guard while she was live streaming outside Et Jacob Congregation / Oshel Chana High School. Zoe Perez took down the video of the stream leading up to the shooting, only leaving footage of about 4 minutes before the actual shooting took place and the events afterwards. Police responded to the incident at 12:24 p.m. According to LAPD spokesman Drake Madison, Zoe was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Fair enough, this seems to be the basic facts that everybody agrees upon with what actually happened. But there's more, obviously.
Sources say that the video Zoe took down before the shooting involved her making rude comments toward Orthodox people passing by.
And now we're starting to go a little bit off the edge here. Now, he states rude comments. Now, I reviewed the prior footage, and I'll have a link to the footage that leads up to the shooting. And when I was listening through it, the main comments were either criticisms of how people are holding their cell phones and taking her pictures, Furry Potato's pictures there, or commenting on the security guard and how the security guard was reacting. Now, when it came to the general public or the people that were attending the school and all that stuff, there wasn't really any rude comments. In fact, Furry Potato was confused when looking and put the live stream on two ladies that were there in the street going to their car, noticed it commenting that they were wearing sort of a uniform and was uncertain if they were religious wear or was it a part of a uniform. But now that we know that this is a school, they were obviously school uniforms.
From 328, and everybody's dressed like this. I see a lot of girls dressed like this in their green skirts and their tops. I'm not sure if it's a Jewish tradition or what.
But let's get back to more of what Hero's got to say here.
It is still unclear why she was staking out the synagogue to begin with. Perez was also previously arrested in June of last year for making derogatory comments towards African American U.S. Marine recruiters.
And see, here's more further proof of his lack of due diligence on covering this issue, because he only covers the criminal arrest history for Furry Potato with this incident and doesn't even look to get the testimony, per se, specifically from Furry Potato, on this arrest and how it came about. And what about the criminal arrest history for the security guard? And he does have some. Why didn't you do some research on that end? Or are you just going off the news articles that are provided to you, which do have some biases? But we'll cover more on that a little bit later. Let us continue on.
Also refers to herself as a First Amendment auditor. If you don't know what that is, a First Amendment auditor apparently enacts their First Amendment right by filming in public, but many times take things further, as in to incite potential viral videos.
And that is actually a minority of the First Amendment audit people that try to escalate things. Unfortunately, that summary area of the wiki page is biased against the First Amendment auditors in general, due to the fact that it's citing mainly a bunch of articles that just came out in the last month that are very negative and don't actually do more in-depth reporting on the issue. All it concerns about is painting a certain paintbrush over the entire scene. And as is, especially if you look at my channel, a lot of my videos are tame. And if you look at a lot of First Amendment audit videos and First Amendment tests and civil rights exercises when it comes to video activism in this kind of manner, they're fairly tame. It is a minority of the videos where you have someone getting angsty and getting in people's faces and causing scenes. But most of the time, guess what? A lot of the videos, someone's just standing there recording, usually in a place that they're legally allowed to be at. And it's either people that work at that government building, that private building, or security or something like that, law enforcement, and they give the person out filming in public problems. So we already got some more issues here with how you're going about it. You didn't even do the basic cursory look at some of these videos. So let's go ahead and continue on here.
Now, for those of you that don't know, there have been a frightening amount of synagogue shootings in fairly recent U.S. history, starting with last year in October 2018, when a man armed with an AR-15 style rifle and at least 3 handguns opened fired inside a Pittsburgh synagogue Saturday morning, killing at least 11 people. There have also been at least 2 other synagogue-related shootings in fairly recent history in Los Angeles alone.
What hell of a red herring argument you're throwing out here? What does shootings have to do with someone that's just standing there and filming the school, or, well, in this case, a synagogue/school, from a public place? What does this have to do with that? As is, to my knowledge, none of the school shootings or synagogue shootings involve someone prior to it standing there with the camera recording openly, where it's plain obvious, oh, there's someone standing there. It's going to attract attention. I got a camera. You think someone that's planning on shooting is going to do something very overtly like that and possibly blow their chance of surprise ambush or whatever, or to go on a shooting? It's very unlikely. And as is, this is a red herring argument. What the hell, hero? This is bad reporting right here, because it's like, oh, there was a shooting. And guess what? I went through this exact same situation with my arrest last year in Springfield, where I wasn't even dealing with a school. I was covering a post office, a school administrative building, which is not a school, a city hall and library. And guess what? They tried to accuse me of filming a school, which was not even happening. And guess what? The charges have been dismissed, and there is a pending civil case going on right now with all that. Oh, whoops, talked a little bit too much on that. I'll talk to my audience specifically on that a little bit later on. But as is, red herring argument, these shootings have nothing to do with someone standing there filming. There's no connection here. It's really stupid, and it annoys the hell out of me.
Now, while I don't believe Zoe actually did anything illegal in her recording, you have to admit that it is pretty weird, odd, out of line to be filming young girls at a synagogue, especially, as I've said multiple times now, with the history of synagogue shootings that has been occurring throughout the United States.
Well, yes, okay, it's weird. I give you that. So is your live streaming at a shopping mall. And oh, what about all the shopping mall shootings, especially that happened in California there in the past couple of years? Huh? Wouldn't that maybe raise some red flags? We got the pot calling the kettle black here going on. So maybe you should really rethink these arguments that you are making.
Mentioned earlier, this was not just a synagogue, but also a high school, Ohel Shana High School.
And guess what? It's not advertised in English on the outside of the synagogue that it's also a school. We only know that it's a high school after the incident blew up and it got reported on in the media. The only way you could tell there's a school there is if you look it up on Google, which I'm pretty sure Furry Potato didn't do prior research about this specific location, just decided to start filming out of the clear blue. And when you go around looking at Google Street View around the building, nowhere on it outside says this is a school. It just says it's a synagogue and it's got some stuff in Hebrew writing on there. Guess what? We didn't know it was a school. And that was actually something that was an issue with my Springfield arrest too, huh? Well, for those that know my work, those that are watching this because you're seeing me roast Hero here is... you can do your research on that and go through. It's actually quite a few things dealing with Springfield. But as is, no one really knew it was a school. And as is, when you go and look at the footage prior to it, which I will have, there is a link in the description for this, you will hear Furry Potato being confused. There's some young ladies dressed in uniforms, wasn't sure if it was religious garb or was a part of a uniform. Didn't even know if they were school kids. Just knew they're young ladies.
And as you saw in the clip provided by KCal9, the principal herself stated that the school was on lockdown because of this.
And guess what? That lockdown happened because of the shooting, not because of the filming. So maybe you might want to rephrase that entire thing a little bit better, because it makes it sound like that the lockdown happened because of the filming.
Let's backstep a bit to June 13th, 2018, when Zoe was arrested for making apparent racist comments. Here's the article. Let's read the whole thing here. It should be pretty brief.
Yeah, he'll be fairly brief with the article, but we'll cover what's all wrong with this issue after he reads the article.
Update. Racist comments allegedly made at Marine Corps recruiting office probed as hate crimes. Local sheriff's detectives are investigating what they believe is a hate crime committed Tuesday by a woman who was arrested on suspicion of terrorizing someone and causing fear, a felony. The incident happened late Tuesday morning near the United States Marine Corps recruiting office on Valencia Boulevard at the Westfield Valencia Town Center Mall. A 45-year-old woman was arrested at 11:45 a.m. A person threatened someone at the Marine Corps recruiting office, said Lieutenant Leo Bauer of the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station. This is considered a hate crime since derogatory comments were directed at an African-American recruiter, he said, noting the threats were verbal and not physical. Several people near the recruiting station, which is near the food court entrance to the mall, witnessed the barrage of comments made. The woman's arrest was identified by at least 2 lieutenants as Zoe Perez of La Mirada. Reports of the incident created a buzz online when it became known that Perez had been arrested. Several YouTube videos and online discussions emerged in response to the arrest, arguing that she had a right to say what she wanted, citing freedom of speech. An online search of Zoe Perez revealed the profile of a woman describing herself as a quote-unquote investigative journalist.
Now, what this article doesn't cover is Furry Potato's perspective and what they talk about. Now, the thing is the comment that got Furry Potato in trouble or has been blown out of proportion was when she was said monkey. And guess what? There is a First Amendment auditor, activist, whatever you want to call him, that goes by the moniker Monkey 83. And I've had my criticisms of Monkey in the past and other people because Monkey can get a little bit out there. He's one of those angsty guys. But guess what? Monkey 83 was sort of in the live stream, and Furry Potato, according to their testimony, was responding to Monkey 83, who was in the chat of the live stream. And in fact, we'll go ahead and play a clip of Furry Potato going over a detective's report, which is one of the court documents she has, of the incident. Now, let's go ahead and just listen to that clip.
The detective writes this. On June 26, 2018, I met with the victim. Again, his name's shining right through this marker here, but we'll keep it quiet. On June 26, 2018, I met with the victim regarding the above incident. Me and the victim reviewed the video footage of the incident seized from the suspect's camera from a search warrant authored by blah, blah, blah. I was present while the victim reviewed video footage of the incident. The victim told me The video footage captured the entire incident from start to finish. The victim did not hear the suspect use the word nigger on the video he viewed. The victim also did not hear the suspect say he was going to kick his ass on the video he viewed. The victim told me once he closed and locked the Marine recruiting office door, the sound was muffled due to the glass in between him and the suspect. The victim told me he heard the suspect call him a nigger and that the suspect was going to kick his ass. The victim was unsure of why the video does not reflect what he heard the suspect say to him. This concludes my contact with the victim.
And what makes this worse is due to the fact that he actually looked at Furry Potato's channel and missed all the court update videos that were posted there. Especially this one, which actually had court documents in it. That was an important thing. Or the video where Mrs. Potato, the significant other of Furry Potato, actually talks about the issue that they think, oh, it's misinterpreting monkey for being a racist comment, when in all reality, most likely, that it was referring to Monkey 83. So, what do you know?
So I'm really trying to come at this story in an unbiased way.
What a load of shit, to be honest. Unbiased way. You're coming at this at a very biased way. And I've already just shown it with your coverage of that article. And I'm going to show it even further later on as we rip apart more of how unbiased you are.
On one hand, as an IRL streamer myself, I can sympathize with Zoe somewhat because I know how quickly things can escalate and get out of hand when you are recording people in public. Even when the law is on your side, sometimes people get very aggressive and upset when they are being recorded. I've personally had my fair share of confrontations where people didn't like that I was recording or they didn't like what I was doing. Let me show you some clips just so you can get an idea.
Now, here's the thing. There is a huge difference between the IRL live streaming that you do and the IRL live streaming that the activists do in this First Amendment auditing scene and the First Amendment testing and the just videography civil rights activism. As is, they're going out there and usually putting themselves at risk. And from what I understand, Furry Potato started out that day, well, at the beginning of the stream, covering, doing cop watching. And I know for a fact you don't do cop watching. As is, you're more likely to get the cops called on yourself. But let's go ahead and look at your clips. Let us see how they compare. The examples you throw up and compare with what happens with the First Amendment auditing genre that is going on here.
How you doing, sir?
Good, I'm just dismantling my project.
Question, did you ask the restaurant for permission to use their chairs?
I'm sorry?
Did you ask the permission to use their chairs?
Oh no, I'm actually putting it back. That's
Okay.
why. Yeah.
Please don't do that again.
Oh,
okay?
shit.
If you want to use the chairs, go ahead and ask the businesses. Don't just grab them and leave them.
Gotcha.
Somebody can get hurt.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking it down
Okay, well, don't be doing it.
There you go.
And see, this is how I can tell you have not done a cursory look at First Amendment auditing and how all those videos work. Because this doesn't even come close to the stuff that we do as is. For me, I go out First Amendment test, I go and set up, I set up on a sidewalk, and I film a building. You are fucking around at a shopping mall. Oh yeah, here's my argument about live streaming, recording yourself at a shopping mall with all the prior shootings, but back onto the point, as is, you're at a shopping mall fucking around with private property, stacking private property chairs. Those aren't owned by you, that's owned by the restaurant and all that stuff. And that guy was sort of right, criticizing you for screwing around with the chairs. And you got called on it, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm putting it back and all that stuff. Now, cool concept, and as is, I have dabbled with doing IRL stuff. I try to see if I can integrate it. And I think there's ways of doing it. There's a couple of people that managed to get IRL live streaming and the First Amendment test stuff going on, though I disagree with how they're going about it. But nonetheless, there are some similarities, but not in the way that you think about it. And you've shown yourself very well with this specific clip. If you go look at the numerous videos on my channel, or any other person that does the auditing, First Amendment testing, even, well, just any major civil rights exercise where they record themselves, going out and recording something or doing some sort of civil rights exercise at the same time of recording, it is vastly different than this little, I'm going to Jenga a bunch of chairs for entertainment. There is a vast difference here. Let's look at your other clip, because I got some more interesting commentary on your second clip.
Hey, cops. Good evening. Well, we're just trying to help people out. We thought he needed,
this guy needed a drink.
we got him some water, and now that's it.
We got him a drink.
You guys are costumes. Apparently there's a flamethrower, so flamethrower on it.
Not
You okay, sir?
flamethrower.
You need an ambulance?
It's not a flamethrower.
What happened? You fell?
It's right there.
Clean or whatever.
It's propane, but it's not being used.
All right. Well,
It's
you
not
guys,
in use.
you guys generated a call. So
We're sorry
I
about
don't know
that.
what you guys are up to, but
I mean, we're giving this guy water.
Keep on watch. We just got here about 20 minutes ago.
all right.
Help
Well,
this guy out.
we'll take care of this guy. Appreciate you guys helping out. Just please don't use that thing.
No,
Because
we're
you
not.
You guys could get arrested. Apparently, there were reports that you guys were actually using a flamethrower. I don't know how it's identified, but
Well, we're live
and I
streaming,
wasn't
so-
here. This is comment
Yeah.
to the call. All right, you guys have a nice evening. I'll check up on you.
Now, this one, it's a little bit closer to the First Amendment, Second Amendment, open carry activism kind of stuff. But you're with Ice Poseidon, and pretty much when you're with the CX crew and Ice Poseidon, expect to get the cops called on you. It's just a natural thing. He's been swatted, I don't know how many times. He's had so many issues with his toxic community, which we'll get a little bit more on that. But what else do you have to say about these clips?
The point of me showing those clips to you guys is to emphasize the fact that I know what it's like to go out and stream and have to deal with security or police that are wondering what you're doing when you're just exercising your First Amendment right, or just having fun making some good and entertaining content, or trying to help the homeless. In the case of the second clip, I went up to ICE, explained to him like my superhero project that I've been working on, got him involved with that. We went out and helped homeless people. And as you saw, one of the homeless people that we were helping, we ended up having the police called on us. And we even had a not a flamethrower with us. And the police were really cool. We were respectful to them. They were respectful to us. And that was that. So like I said, on one hand, I can sympathize with where Zoe is coming from.
Not in the same ballpark, though. That's the big issue. As is, you're not a flamethrower, which, as is in the YouTube videos of the archives with Ice Poseidon and his not a flamethrower, but yet in the titles says it's a flamethrower, especially like with this one clip where I scare off a taxi with a flamethrower. Yeah, sorry. I have a hard time taking you serious. Not to mention, Ice Poseidon gets the cops called on him all the time. He's also been in trouble with the law, especially with this clip where he got in trouble in Switzerland and ran over to Germany. Boy, huh? Come on. I can't take you serious on all this. You can't really sympathize with someone who's just going out there and creating havoc. And the CX crew themselves create all kinds of problems. I see them all the time back when they used to get constantly put into live stream fails, and then they got kicked out, banned, that content got kicked out because they were faking some of it. But nonetheless, you guys bring a lot of that kind of trouble upon yourself. Now, with our activism, we're getting out there. We expect the cops to get called on us because that usually is what happens when you got someone that doesn't like what you're doing. And the first go-to thing is call the cops. Unless they want to be confrontational, and then they get in your face. But nonetheless, we're going out there to exercise the rights, maybe educate, depending on the person that you're looking at, and document if they are respecting people's rights, whether it be law enforcement, security personnel, employees of that company, or government agency, or office, or building. There's a huge difference. And so you're not even there. I mean, you leaned a little bit there, but you're not there, nowhere close. So keep in mind, this is not that great of a comparison of your history versus our history as activists. But let us continue here.
However,
oh boy, he's pulling the but statement. But, or in this case, however,
I don't understand why Zoe Perez had to make hateful comments towards people outside a synagogue.
really, hateful comments. You don't even know if she made hateful comments because you never saw that footage. You never watched it all. Now, she did make some rude comments to the live stream camera there, stating, "Oh, there's Dum Dum," but I didn't really hear much worse than that. Now, on the other hand, why don't we listen to this little quick clip from the security guard themselves approaching Furry Potato here. For those of you who couldn't quite make it out, he called Furry Potato a terrorist, a person standing on the sidewalk filming with a camera, where the security guard has no jurisdiction has no control over, and walks up and says, "You're a terrorist." Yeah. I think we're getting more hateful comments from the security guard.
And record young girls at their school and place of worship. That certainly seems out of line to me, and honestly, like, she was just asking for trouble.
Oh, really? And this is coming from a guy who sat there and discussed about, "Oh, let's steal some water." Here's that clip from the same night that they got the cops called on him about the weed burner.
Feel the water that's coming down the lift right now. It's literally getting closer and closer.
All right, let's steal it then.
Right there.
Let's steal it then. Go for it.
And let's be honest about this. Okay, Furry Potato standing on a public sidewalk, recording a building, and recording people interacting with the building, going in and out. There's nothing illegal about it, and it shouldn't be unethical. Okay, someone's filming. I'm pretty sure you have to deal. You even commented earlier, specifically, "Oh, you have to deal with people that didn't like being filmed." Well, guess what? You're out in public. There is no expectation of privacy. You depend on that immensely for the content that you create when you do IRL live streaming, going out there on the street and interacting with people and having fun with Ice Poseidon and the CX crew and pulling all your antics. But the thing is guess what? Your shit stinks too. Especially when you're hanging out with Ice Poseidon and the CX crew. They are known for causing problems. I know Ice Poseidon has offended many people and caused many problems, and the people around him have done the same thing. It's cringy content that people enjoy and are entertained watching. So you're not really on a high horse, and you don't really have a good stance on this, especially with your already given track record of working with the CX network there. And before I forget, also, you're starting to sound like the SJW and the political correctness people that you so much criticize, especially with the Vic Monroe shit and the Shield Hero crap, and any other kind of little anime stuff that you have covered that I haven't seen so far, dealing with those kinds of crowds. So I almost forgot about that. But yes, guess what? You're sounding like the people that you do not like and that come after the content that you enjoy for entertainment.
It seemed that way because, as it's been cited already, these First Amendment auditors have historically been proven to go out of their way to try to cause situations which will make a viral video for themselves. If that's what Zoe was trying to do, she certainly succeeded in that respect.
And once more, pot calling the kettle black. Guess what? You do the same thing when you're hanging out with the CX crew and Ice Poseidon. They generate problematic incidences and get a viral video out of it. I've seen it many times. It's been posted like crazy early last year on Livestream Fells and on the various other subreddits, including like Public Freakout. Guess what? CX crew shows up. Well, let's see what we can stir up or whatever. They might get someone pissed off and chase them down the road. They might piss off a crowd where they start chanting. Because I remember when Ice Poseidon showed up at that one protest. Yes, I am very well aware of what your group at the CX network does and how they interact with each other, okay? I am very familiar because I studied IRL live streaming, thinking maybe I might be able to break into it. Unfortunately, I didn't really work that hard at it because I had other plans coming up. But I know exactly how to create content, how to make it go viral. And I've seen them do it. And yes, there are First Amendment auditors that will go out of their way to create a problem. And you have those of us within the genre who criticize them or point things out. Not all the time in public. We do pull them aside and say, hey, yo, you might not want to do that. But guess what? It is up to them to take our advice and run with it. But many times, those of us who are actually on the calmer side of things and don't usually go and stir shit up get ignored. We also get ignored because a lot of our videos are nothing happens. They're boring. We post them, no one really watches it, and go, oh, cool, boring video. And then they click off after about 5 or 6 seconds and off to watch whatever video they want that interests them. That's how it goes. That's YouTube, that's live streaming, that's everything in a nutshell right there. If you're doing it for entertainment, there's got to be conflict for the most part, or something action-packed happening that gets everybody's attention going on. And guess what? You are no different. Look at all the Vic Monroe shit there you're covering the past couple of weeks. And also the Shield Hero crap.
And on that same note, that is the exact reason why I am not bringing up Zoe's YouTube channel name in this video. If she really was trying to cause such controversy and have an incident on stream so she could get views, that is not something I'm willing to support. So I'm not mentioning her YouTube channel name in this video. And I would also ask none of you guys to support that kind of thing either. Because like I said, it's not only dangerous to her and the people involved in any incident that might happen, but it is creating a bad image for every single IRL streamer out there, and also a more hostile and dangerous environment for all of us as well.
Nobody. Okay. We're in different subgenres of IRL live streaming. And guess what? Your CX network crew causes way more problems than the First Amendment people. Okay? Let's get that straight.
By the way, I mentioned how Zoe was already arrested in 2018 for hateful comments against an African-American Marine recruiter, but she apparently also has a currently ongoing court case open as well. Let's take a look.
And this is where you mess things up. Really bad. Here's the deal. As the First Amendment activists, we have a high likelihood of getting arrested for the work that we do. I've been arrested twice. I've been taken to court 3 times with criminal charges. I've shaken them. Many people that are in our subgenre that have been in it for more than 2 years have been arrested at some point or been served with a citation that they've had to take to court. A majority of these activists have won against the criminal cases. And in fact, one of those activists have already set case law in the Fifth Circuit. As is, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about when you're trying to refer to us. Okay, yes, she has another court case going on. That doesn't mean she's guilty of some of the stuff that you are accusing her of. And some of the statements that you're going to make a little bit later is going to get downright defamatory at some points. And I'll point those out to you.
So as you can see, Zoe is apparently dealing with these current charges and was already arrested in 2018 for hateful remarks. And apparently before she was shot at the synagogue, she was making rude and hateful remarks to the Orthodox people walking by. So I don't understand why Zoe is acting like she is trying to do good through her streaming, when the reality is, I have yet to see anything good come of this.
And here we are, making a defamatory comment, making hateful comments. As I stated, I did not hear any hateful comments. Did you hear any hateful comments? Oh, wait, that's right. You didn't review the footage, did you? You didn't go and seek it out and find a source of someone making a mirror, a backup copy, and listening to it. No, you didn't do that part, did you? Or do you do the research about what good has come out of this? As I stated, you have the Fifth Circuit court case, Turner v. Driver. Then also there's the bad police officers that have been removed off the police force for violating people's rights. We've had successful settlements from lawsuits changing policies in some states on how police officers deal with people filming them or filming government buildings and dealing with all that stuff. We have activists dealing with public records and facing fierce opposition in some parts of this country. We have people that go out there and try to make sure people have their rights respected when they're being arrested doing the cop watching aspect. But due to the fact that you are so inept in doing the research on this area, because it's a way bigger field than what you think, especially with your next upcoming comments.
It's not even just that, but her community itself is also extremely toxic. Allow me to read a comment from one of her videos. Now, I don't want to link the video or show the video, like I said, because I don't want to drive traffic to it, but here is a comment from one of her followers. It goes on to say, I hope that Zoe still audits after she collects her millions from this institution. Sad part is this coward security guard will be hired in a heartbeat now for any agency. Once they see this video, LAPD will want that coward in their force. He meets all the requirements for being a pig. 1, pathetic equal check. 2, coward equal check. 3, dumb and uneducated equal double check. Agencies are going to be fighting for this bum to be on their force.
Fair enough criticism coming from someone who works with some other channels that have a more toxic community than what's in the First Amendment scene. Especially when those people in those communities, especially with ICE Poseidon and the CX network, oh boy, let's see here. The swatting calls that happen, the calling of restaurants, wherever the hell you guys end up going to, the various complaints getting you guys in trouble. Yeah. Oh, and then here's the thing. What if I take a fine-tooth comb to your comments on your videos? I'm betting I could probably find some comments that are racist, bigoted, hateful, that you haven't gotten around to maybe moderating out or YouTube hasn't caught. Those comments do exist. They get through. And you also have us activist channel that doesn't really give a crap and just let the comments fly and let YouTube do its own moderation thing. I am one of those. Guess what? People, I'm for sure, you're going to find those comments on there. Whether they're for the police, against me. I receive a lot of hate comments on that. In fact, actually, it's quite entertaining to know that people are hate watching my videos just to make a comment that they don't like me. These things exist. But as is, these comments are not reflective of the people that create the content.
So, it's honestly ridiculous. This Zoe person is transgender, which means that we have to respect their pronouns, which I have done this whole video. But the point is, it's just so hypocritical that Zoe wants this respect from people, but then she's going around saying racist remarks to people.
We don't have to respect her pronouns if we really wanted to. We don't have to give a person that kind of respect. We can refer to Furry Potato as him if we wanted to. The main reason why I call Furry Potato her is because she's going through the surgeries, or trying to go through the surgeries to transition the gender. And she's trying to make herself look like a lady. So, you know what? I'm just going to go with her in that regard. There will be slip-ups, obviously, but she's making the attempt. But the hypocritical part is, how about this? You claiming she made racist comments to people when I haven't seen that evidence directly. I've seen her make racist comments when referring to the court documents she went over, but that's a completely different matter because she's reading the documents. And in fact, oh, that's right, we had that clip. She's not really making racist comments. She's pointed out that she's been accused of making racist comments, and literally they're misinterpreting a comment that wasn't even racist. It was another YouTuber's YouTube name, and they took it out of context and then started throwing in other racist comments and saying she said this, and then when confronted, that video footage doesn't show it, making them eat their own words, apparently, according to that detective's report. But no, you did not do the extra research, and you're just going out and accusing people of stuff that they haven't done, apparently. That's what happens when you don't do the right research. This is why I have great respect for someone like Tim Poole, who actually does a lot of his own research and tries to find source material on where it's at.
She's making fun of people's religions. She's giving the police a hard time. Her followers are also hating on the police, calling them pigs. It is disgusting. It's disgusting and hypocritical, and this shit needs to be called out because it's not alright.
Fair enough with the criticism and calling people out. I understand. I mean, I've had to do my own calling of people out. But keep in mind, you also live in a glass house. And as is, I am calling your ass out for doing in-depth research on the topic and not understanding the full breadth of the issue at hand. What you're doing is just stupid. You're picking on the wrong group in the wrong ways. And you're sitting there and trying to paint a broad brush, a broad stroke, saying everybody within this area is this way based off of just one activist out of hundreds and a handful of comments out of thousands, if not millions of comments on a bunch of videos across the entire broad area of the First Amendment with the camera civil rights exercising that goes on in this genre. As is, you made yourself look like an idiot. I can't really take your opinion on the Vic Monroe stuff seriously. I can't really take you serious now on the Rising Shield Hero controversies that come up. The main reason why I can actually accept your stuff is because I watch content about that. I invest in that content. I watch Rising Shield Hero. I am upset that the Vic Monroe is getting falsely accused of a bunch of stuff. And I've learned about it from other people that are doing in-depth researches and archiving and disseminating that information out there. Something I haven't really seen you do. What you've been doing is looking at the people that are archiving, doing the research and doing the digging, gathering that information up and just regurgitating that back out. As is, there's nothing wrong with it. I've seen and known other YouTubers that have done this, and they're successful in that. And you've talked to these people also yourself. I can see why you're going in this direction. But the thing is you need to understand the weaknesses in this aspect. And the fact that you took the published news articles that you read as gospel, and then the stuff that you heard, and put it out there. I'm guilty of this myself. I've had that bite me in the ass. But you need to issue some corrections or retractions because you made some defamatory statements. And you made some inappropriate and hypocritical statements about the larger community as a whole. This is a very broad area. There's a lot of people involved in it. And we're also in different areas. The people that are doing this First Amendment stuff, they're not really doing it for entertainment for the most part. There are a couple that are. They're in it for the money, they're in it for the views. But a good majority of them are in it to either reinforce civil rights or to cause policy changes or changes in how things are being done because people's civil rights are being violated. You are here doing entertainment and maybe informative entertainment. That's pretty much what I see you doing. And the side IRL live stream stuff. I haven't really been able to look up all your IRL live streams because your side channel doesn't really have anything going on. And I haven't spent a lot of time looking over your back content. But I have glanced over. You've been doing this for a while. It's somewhat good. But you really messed up in this regard. And I'm calling you out on it. You just got to be careful in that regard. Now, if you want to have a conversation about this or whatever, guess what? I'm sitting in your Discord. Someone actually went and fished it out real fast and I joined. You can find me. It's Bunny Boots Inc. You'll recognize my little black icon with the bunny boot in it. It's a Arctic boot. It's not an actual bunny shaped as a boot. Just keep that in mind. It's a play on words, something from a while ago. We can talk about it later. But correct yourself, man. And maybe, you can improve upon this. Take this as a lesson learned in that regard. I'm always screwing up, but I'm trying to constantly learn in those regards also. Also, I have my own critics that are constantly hounding me on stuff that either I mess up on or stuff that we disagree on. And as is, I disagree with you a lot on this. And I'm pretty sure you could benefit from a sit-down discussion. And sit-down discussion not just with me, but other people are involved. We've got attorneys that are now getting involved in criticizing and looking at this stuff and actually causing beneficial changes within the movement. We also have people that are looking at the stuff, learning more about the law, and re-guessing where they're at. Now, you do have those bad apples, just like you have bad apples in police departments. But that doesn't make all police bad. It just means there's problematic people, and they're going to be in every group. Part of the reason why I keep hounding you with the association with the CX Network and Ice Poseidon was because what you were doing is exactly what I was paying you back with. So keep that in mind. I wasn't just trying to do that with no reason and ill will intent. I was using it as an example. So learn from that. Anyway, I am off to go and deal with other stuff. I got a lot of homework to deal with. I'll hopefully maybe start getting back up on some video stuff. I'm trying to work that in. I'll see you guys around. Have a nice week.